Hi, this is Carolyn with PlumbingSupply.com, and today we're going to show you just how incredibly easy it is to install a new kitchen sink flange. This is what we're talking about right here. There's a lot of different names for this, usually called a basket strainer because of this little piece right here. So you see that better. And really, these don't generally need to be replaced very often, but sometimes you're putting in a new faucet and your old flange is all scratched up, or it's a different finish than your new faucet, and you might just want to replace it. This is a very basic sink flange, and when you get this, it'll be in the box just like this, and this on the bottom is a lock nut, and you're going to unscrew this lock nut, and all the seals are going to come off too. Don't lose these. We're going to take this, and on the bottom here, we're going to take some plumber's putty. It's basically just like modeling clay. You're going to rip a chunk out, start rolling it up, get it a little warm in your hands, and you're going to roll it like you do when you're a kid and you're making little Play-Doh snakes and stuff. Just roll it out, and you want to roll it to about the width of a pencil, like I have here. You're going to take this and put it around the base of your basket strainer. Now, sometimes if you have a basket strainer that is kind of loose in your sink, you're going to want to put this in the sink instead of on the strainer. It just kind of helps to create a tighter seal. So once you've got that on there, kind of push it down a little bit so it doesn't fall off when you tip the strainer over. And we're going to come over here to our sink and place it in. So we've got the basket strainer all with the putty on it. We're just going to put it in here, drop it in, and press down firmly, not too hard. You don't really want your putty to be squeezing out the sides, but that's okay if you have a little extra. You just wipe that up. So push it down firmly. Then we're going to get underneath the sink and attach the lock nut. So we're under the sink, and as you can see, some of the putty has kind of seeped down below here, and all you really need to do is just go through and kind of wipe away any that's really excessive and just push up what you can to keep a nice tight seal under there. Then we'll take the gaskets on the lock nut and slide them back over here. And just start tightening this. And again, through the magic of TV, we didn't have to spend any time at all threading this on here. So you're just going to want to tighten it. You want to make sure that it's tight. And you might need, if you're kind of girly like me and don't have really strong hands, you might need to get a wrench to tighten it up a little bit, but you don't want to over tighten it because you don't want to squish all of that putty out of there to loosen up your seal. You don't want a bunch of water draining down into your under the sink area. And that's it. You've just installed your new basket strainer. So we just installed this, but now we're going to take it apart so that you can see how to take off your old one before you get started installing the new one. This is a strainer wrench, and if you want to use this, you'll just slide it under there and loosen the lock nut up with it. This is probably a good idea if you're strong and you've got big burly hands. If you don't, like me, this is a very easy tool you can use, and this just basically slides up underneath here, and then you can use a screwdriver, stick it through the holes, and get a little bit of torque to help you remove or even tighten your lock nut here. This one isn't hard to remove because we just installed it, but if you've had the same flange in here for 20 years or so, it's going to be pretty tough to remove. So once you've got the lock nut all removed, you're going to come and pop this part up. Again, this is really easy. We just installed this. But you might need to grab a screwdriver, maybe bang on it from the bottom a little bit. It really depends on whether or not you want to scratch your sink, about how careful you need to be. But generally, if you have a stainless steel sink or something else that's pretty sturdy, a little bit of tugging and banging and you should have no problems. Another important tip for when you're removing the sink flanges, you want to make sure that you've cleaned the area really well and gotten all the old putty or silicone or whatever was used to seal it out of that area before you put the new one in. Now we're going to show you how to install an easy-on sink flange. This is a special one because if you look right here, there's little grooves, and this basically slides around those grooves. Just take that off and take these off, and this is going to go into the sink just like the other one did. We're not going to mess with the putty this time. This isn't your first rodeo anymore. You know what you're doing. We're going to put that into the sink just like we did the other one. Press it down and make sure that it's got a good seal. And then we're going to get under the sink and tighten it up. Now you'll notice that this one is not threaded on the bottom because you don't need the threads. It's super easy. We're going to take the gasket and this ring, and you want to make sure that the grooved side is pointing down. And slide them up over there. And then you're going to take the other ring and slide it over the strainer. You might need to look a little bit because remember it does have those little grooves that it needs to go over. Slide it around so it sets on those, and then you're just going to start tightening these screws until you get a nice tight seal in there. So now you have a brand new sink flange. It's all nice and shiny and pretty. And the next step will be to connect your drain system from your new sink flange to the wall, which is another video for another time. But for today, I'm Carolyn from PlumbingSupply.com. Thanks for watching.